In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this little penguin. Okay, now you may have purchased one of my crochet kits, and if you have, you should have everything you need. But if not, you're going to need some grey yarn. I've used acrylic just because it's softer and easier to manipulate, particularly for beginners, but you'll find that cotton works really well for amigurumi once you've practiced it. So you need some grey yarn. You'll need some yellow for the feet and the beak, and you need some white. This is all DK acrylic yarn, so make sure you've got all of the same type. You'll need some toy stuffing, a tiny bit of black yarn for the eyes, a 3.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors. Now if you purchase one of my crochet kits, they don't come with scissors in them just because of what you are able to send and not send through the mail. So I'm sure you'll have a pair of scissors at home. You need a darning needle or a yarn needle and then a stitch marker. Now if you've got one of my crochet kits, you've probably got a little plastic one, but I've actually chosen a donut one from my shop today. So I've got lots of different stitch markers in my shop. So let's get started. We're going to actually start with the wings. Now the reason for that is that the wings are actually attached as you make the body. So we'll start with the wings first of all, and you'll need 2 of those. This is actually one of the trickier bits to do because it's very small to start with, but I'll show you how to do that. So I've got my little ball of yarn here, and I'm going to take from the middle on this one. It doesn't matter whether you take from the middle or the outside, but you're going to start off by making a magic circle or a magic ring. Place the yarn over your fingers and wrap around the back. I catch between the last 2 fingers, and it needs to cross over on the inside of your hand but be separate on the other side. So there's a little X on that side, open on that side. Feel free to rewind the video as much as you need to for this. Then take your crochet hook and go under the first one, over the second, and pull the second one under. Give it a twist, go for that second one again, and then pull it through. There you'll have a little circle here. Now as you're working into the circle, you actually work around both of these, including the tail. Okay, and to start with, you're going to put 3 double crochets. Now that's a UK term, so in the US that's called a single crochet. Put 3 double crochets into the ring. So we put our hook under into the ring, yarn over, pull through, and you've now got 2 hooks, 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops. That is 1 double crochet. You're going to do that again. So go underneath the 2 of the yarn, circle and the tail, yarn over, pull through. You've got 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of those. That's your second. So you've got 1 there and 1 there. And you're going to do that 1 more time. So under both loops, yarn over, pull through. You've got 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of those, and that means you've now done 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. You're then going to take the loose yarn tail, the one with the end, and pull it as tightly as you can. Okay, and that will close off this, and then this is going to be our first round. This will help to make the point of the hook and that of the wing, and that's why I say it's quite tricky, this first bit. Use it like a circle. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go into that first or third one. Okay, that's the trickiest bit. Once you've done this, it gets easier from here. So go through that one, yarn over, pull through. You've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through. Now you're actually doing an increase on this round, so you need to go into that same one again to add another one in the same place. So go through the same place as before, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. that means you've done 2 double crochets in 1 from the last round. That's an increase. Then you go into the next stitch and you're going to again do 2. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 1 stitch. Into the same stitch again, go into it, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. That means you've now done 4 double crochets. Do the same with the final one. So into that final stitch, third one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and again into that same one. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now, where the tail is coming from, that's actually the inside of the wing, but don't worry about it too much yet. In a couple more rounds, it will become a bit more obvious. You have now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. To make it easier, this is where you can use your stitch marker. Put it in that last stitch from the round. And that reminds you where you are. Now on the next round, you're going to increase every other one. So you've ended up with 6 stitches for this round because we increased every one of the 3. But this time you're going to increase every other one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our first stitch here. Go into this one and do 1 double crochet. Then go into the next stitch, and this is where you're going to increase. So you're going to put 2 in this one. 1, 2. Then go into the next one, and you're going to put just 1. In the next one, you're going to put 2. 1, 2. And then the next one, you're going to put 1. And in that last stitch where we had our stitch marker, which I'm going to take out now, we put 2. This now means we've got 9 stitches in this round. So if you start to push it through, you'll see you've got a bit of a point there, and your tail should be on the inside, and I've now got the corner of my wing. Again, so that I can find out where I am, I use a stitch marker each round, so I can add that on again. That last stitch. I just pull up a little loop each time so that I don't lose it, okay? And it becomes clearer where that first one is again. You can count back if you need to, but you should be able to spot it now. It's straight after that last one. Try and keep quite tight as you're doing this. The next round, you're going to go from 9 stitches that we've just made up to 12. So you're going to do a repeat of double crochet, increase. So we do double crochet, double crochet, and this is my increase, so keep it nice and tight, and I'm putting 2 in this one. 1, 2, and I repeat that. So double crochet, double crochet, increase. So that's 2 in the same stitch, and then we repeat that again. You see we're getting back round to that stitch marker again, so we do double crochet, double crochet, and where my stitch marker is, which is the last one, I'm going to do that as my increase. You don't have to use a stitch marker, you can just count round, but I just find that if you do use a stitch marker, you've got less chance of losing count of where you are. So I pull up a little loop, find that last stitch, and put my stitch marker through again. Okay, so we're now on to round 5, and round 5 is just no increases. We've now got 12 stitches from round 4. We're just going to DC all of them, so that's double crochet all of them. So we just count up to 12. So that's 1, that's 2. So no increases this time, just double crochet in each of them. That's the third one, 4th, 5th. You just keep moving it around as you go. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, 10, 11, and then the last one, 12. You'll find it gets a bit easier now just because it's a slightly bigger piece of work to work with, and you can see the stitches a little bit easier as you go around. So you've done the hardest bit, yay! Put my stitch marker in again, so I've just pulled up a little loop just so that I don't lose that stitch at all. Put my stitch marker through that last stitch, through both sides of it, close it off, onto round 6. And round 6 we're now going up to 15 stitches, so we're doing double crochet 3 times in 3 separate stitches and then an increase. So you do double crochet once, double crochet twice, double crochet 3 times, and then an increase. 1, 2 in the same spot. I'll repeat that again. Double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and an increase, which means 2 in the same stitch. 1, back into the same place, 2, and then once more. Double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see we're back round, and my next stitch is the one with that stitch marker in. So let's take that out. One, 2. Okay. So again, I pull my little loop up, put my stitch marker in. And now we are on to row 7. And round 7 is just double crochet each one, so you're going to do 15 stitches. So first one, second one, and keep going all the way around until you finish with the one that's got your stitch marker in. So double crochet into each stitch all the way around. You can count as you go. You should count 15, hopefully. does help you to know if you've got the right number of stitches as you go. And the last one should be that one that's got your stitch marker in, so I'll take my stitch marker out to crochet that one. And then I'll put my stitch marker back in again. And on to round 8, which is the last increase round for the wing. So we're increasing up to 18 stitches this time. So a similar repeat as before. We're going to do 4 double crochets and then 1 increase. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, turn your work as you need to, 4 double crochet, and then an increase, which is 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2. Repeat that again. So 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase, 1, 2, and then again another 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my last stitch, which has got my stitch marker in, is my increase. 1, 2 stitches in the same 1. Okay, the next 6 rounds you will need your stitch marker, because for each round you are just crocheting 1 stitch into each one of the round before. So you're just going to do 18 stitches in each of these rounds. I'll do the first one with you. So just 1 stitch into each one. You can count round as you do it if you want to. I just use the stitch marker and then I know which is my last stitch of the round. So 1 double crochet into each one all the way around. You'll just need to keep turning as you do it. And always, I mean, I'm crocheting across here, but always try to make sure that you're not catching the other side of the wing as you do this. Otherwise you'll find it won't work properly. So just make sure you're going through just those 2 loops on that side. So this is round 9. You'll know which is the last stitch of your round because your stitch marker will be in that place. So that will be your 18th stitch. For me, it's this next stitch. You need to do that another 5 more times. So that's 5 more rounds of a double crochet into each stitch. Do that, and once you've finished, I'll meet you back for the last part of the wing. So after doing those 5 extra rounds after mine, your wing should look like this. You've got this little tail probably still there. Now, you don't actually stuff the wing, so it doesn't matter too much, but I do just tend to pull it nice and tight, make sure that your wing is still quite pointy, and then I would just tuck this tail in. Because of the magic circle that you started with, there shouldn't really be any problem with that one, and it just gets it out of your way. You've got 2 more rounds to go on this one wing, and then you're done. So on this next round, I've put my stitch marker in already on that last stitch. You're going to go down to 15 stitches. So you're going to do the opposite. You're going to do what's called a decrease. So first of all, we do 4 normal double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You do have to keep turning it a little bit like this. Now, there's 2 ways of doing a decrease. What you can do is put your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, then put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and you end up with 3 loops, and yarn over and pull through those. Now that is a decrease stitch because you're doing 2 together. The other way that I like to do it is an invisible decrease, and it shows up far less when you're doing things like this. And the way in which I do that is you actually only pick up the first loop. Rather than going all the way through, you just pick up that first loop. And then the same for the second stitch in your decrease, pick up the first loop. I haven't yarned over yet. Do you need to keep this nice and tight? Then yarn over. It's a bit tricky pulling it back through those 2. But then you've just got 2 loops on your hook and yarn over, and that's your decrease. You can choose whichever way to do it, but I will do it that way. Keep it nice and tight, otherwise you get gaps. So again, do the same repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and your decrease. So I'm going to go into the first loop, the first part of the stitch only, first loop. It's called a front loop, and the front loop of the next one. Yarn through both of those, yarn over and pull through. That's my second decrease. Then we do another one, another repeat, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice that I've got 1 more stitch there, and then the one with my stitch marker in, because I'm going to do 1 more decrease here. So decrease in that one, front loop only, yarn over, pull through both of those, yarn over, pull through. That's my decrease. And the final round of our wing, so stitch marker in again, is just to decrease all of them. So there should be 15 now as you go round, because we decreased 3 stitches in the last one. So just decrease all the way around. You can check there's 15 as you do it, or you can just go all the way around. If you've got your stitch marker in, you know where you started. You know your stitch marker is the last one of the round. And hopefully if you've kept it nice and tight, you shouldn't have any gaps. You'll notice that some of them are a bit trickier to get in if you have done it quite tight. All the way back round. remembering that the one with the stitch marker is the last one that you need to do. So I'll do one more in that one, and therefore you have made your wing. Now to finish off with our wing, I always do what's called a slip stitch, where you put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, but then also pull it right back through that loop on the hook. That's your slip stitch. I chain one, which is just you pull a bit of your yarn end through, and then you can snip it off. I would leave enough that you can sew in that end, so you kind of want 15 to 20 centimeters really. Okay, now you just keep pulling this end through. It should go quite nice and tight there. All right, and then you can just take your yarn needle and we just sew in the ends, and I try and sew it on the inside of the wing so that they're not really seen. This just kind of stops them from coming undone. Just looping it under a few of the stitches. And going back again the other way. Just particularly if you're giving this to a child, you want to make sure it's not going to come undone again afterwards. My daughter's not allowed anywhere near mine. She'll only take them out of shape and things. And then you can snip this off and tuck that in. Okay, and that's one wing done. You need to do 2 wings, one for each side. So I'm going to pause the video here and you can make your second one, and then you can join me when we make the body. Okay, so now you should have 2 wings which you can set aside for later. You'll need them as you make your body. Okay, so now we're going to start making the body, and we start in the same way with another magic circle or magic ring. So lay your yarn over your fingers, wrap around, and I go through the last 2 fingers, cross on the inside of your hand but not crossed on the other side of your hand, under the first, hook over the second and bring it through, give it a little twist, and then hook under that second one again, bring through that loop, and that's your magic circle. Now this time we're going to start in a very slightly different way, because we're going to start with 6 double crochets. It will make the whole thing a little bit easier. So underneath both of those, so part of that's the circle and part of it's the yarn tail. Underneath both, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, that's 1. Go underneath again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, that's 2. Repeat. 3, 4, 5, 6. And as we did before, you're going to find the end and pull as tightly as you can. It's slightly easier because you've got more stitches to start with, so you've got a bigger area. Now if you just pull that loop up and go back to your little stitch marker and put it in that last stitch that you've just done, and that will mark the last stitch of the round. Now on this round we're going to increase each stitch again, so you've got 6, we're going to go to 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your first stitch is here. It's always the hardest one to get into, but once you've got into that one you can get into all the rest. So go through, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through, that's 1. And remember, you're doing an increase in every single stitch, so that means you need to put another one in that same place. So you've got 2 stitches in that first one. Now go on to your next one, You're going to put 2 stitches in there. Then go on to the next stitch and put 2 double crochets. 1, 2, and again 2 double crochets in the next one. 1, 2, 2 double crochets again in the next one. 1, 2, and then you're back round to that first stitch. So take the stitch marker out. 1, 2. It's quite normal for your magic circle to start opening up a little bit as you crochet around. It does just sometimes work itself a little bit loose. Just keep pulling it tighter again as you go. That's the inside where the tail comes out, and this is the outside. So you've now got 12 stitches. Put your stitch marker in again. This time you're going to increase every other one, and we're going to go up to 18. So we do double crochet and then a double crochet increase, which is 2 in the same one. That's 2 in the same stitch. And again, double crochet, next stitch, 2 double crochet, a double crochet increase, 2 in 1, double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase, so 1, 2. You should end on an increase, so double crochet and then my stitch marker, I take that out, and this is my increase. Put my stitch marker in again, and this time we're going to increase up to 24. So this is going to be a double crochet, increase all the way around. So we do double crochet in the first stitch, double crochet in the second stitch, and an increase in the next one. And repeat that. Double crochet, increase. Now we're starting at the bottom of our penguin and working our way up. Okay, so double crochet, increase, so 1, 2, and again double crochet, increase. Double crochet, increase, and again you should finish on the increase, so double crochet, and then where my stitch marker is, that's my increase. It's a good way to sort of check that you've got the right number of stitches if you're ending on the increase. Now that's taken us up to 24 stitches. We're now going to go on to round 5, which is where we increase up to 30 stitches. So same thing again, but this time you've got double crochet, double crochet, double crochet 3 times and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase, and you should end with a 1, 2, 3, and where your stitch marker is, increase. And we've now got 30 stitches. Put your stitch marker back in again. And we're going up to 36 this time. Same principle again, but this time got an extra double crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. So 1, 2 in the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, then increase. Continue that round and I'll meet you back round at the stitch marker. Okay, so I have just put 2 stitches into the last stitch of that round, making a total of 36. On to round 7, and this time we're going up again, increasing to 42 stitches. Similar idea, so this time you're going to double crochet, 1, 2 double crochet, 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to put 2 into the next one. So 1, 2, and again work that repeat all the way around and I'll meet you back at the end. You should now have 42 stitches all the way around and your last one should have been an increase. We're going to increase one more round, so put your stitch marker back in again, and this time we're going up to 48 stitches, so it's exactly the same principle again. We're going to do double crochet in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches, and then your next one is an increase stitch, so 2 in the same one. Again, work that pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you back round at the start again. Okay, so now we've done all of the increase rounds for now. You're now going to do a total of 8 rounds, so it might be a good idea to have a pen handy and tally these off as you go. 8 rounds all the way around. No increases, just 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around. And in each round you will have 48 stitches. So you can count round as you go, or you can just pop your stitch marker in, knowing that that's the last stitch of your round, and you're going to just double crochet in each one. So every single stitch all the way around, no increases, no decreases, but you're going to do this for 8 rounds. Okay, so this is my first one, and when I get back round to the start, that will be 1 round of double crochet all the way around. You're going to need to do that 8 times. So pause the video, have a go at doing that 8 times all the way around. Use your stitch marker each time or count it round as you go and tally off each round so that you know you've done 8, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. After your 8 rounds of double crochet all the way around, yours should now look kind of like this, sort of a bowl shape, I suppose, and that is the bottom half of the penguin. So we're now going to start decreasing as we work up the rest of him. So I've put my stitch marker in again, and this time we're going to go from 48 all the way around to 42, and in order to do that we're going to do the opposite of what we were doing when we were increasing. We're going to do 6 double crochet and then 1 decrease, a bit like we did on the wings before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now, as we did before with your decreases, you can put your hook through both, yarn over and pull through, and then through the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through all of those on your hook. That's one way of decreasing. I find that you get a tighter decrease with less holes if you just do the decrease in the front loops only. So remember to do that. Put your hook through just the front part of the stitch only. Then put your hook through the front part of the second stitch in your decrease. Yarn over, pull through both of those. You've got 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. That's your decrease stitch. So continue that pattern round with 6 double crochets and 1 decrease, and I'll meet you back round at the end of the round. You should have finished that round on a decrease stitch, and you'll have 42 now, and you'll notice that it's starting to go inwards. Now the next round, because we don't want a ball shape, we want a slightly elongated oval. Your next round is actually a round which doesn't have any decreases. It's just 42 stitches all the way around, 1 in each stitch. So pop your stitch marker back in and count round as you go. You want 42 stitches, 1 in each one. So make your way around 1 stitch in each one of the run before. You'll end up with 42, and I'll meet you at the end of the round. And we're now up to round 19, which is another decrease round. So again, following the pattern, we're going to do 5 double crochets and 1 decrease. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 decrease stitch. Remember, decreasing those front loops only to make it a nice tight stitch. Keep following that repetition round. So 5 double crochets, 1 decrease, all the way back round to the beginning. And now we're on to round 20, and round 20 is a double crochet all the way around. So double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Do that and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. And round 21 is another decrease round, so we're going to go from 36 stitches down to 30 now, and it's similar formula as before. We're going to double crochet 4 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease stitch in the next 2 stitches. Front loops only, and that's your decrease. Work that repeat all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so now that you've got 30 stitches, you're going to do round 22, which is to double crochet all the way around, 1 in each stitch. So it's 30 stitches, 1 in each stitch, all the way around. So work this round of double crochets all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. And now we're moving on to round 23, and round 23 is another decrease round. This time we're going down to 24 stitches, so it's double crochet 3 times and then a decrease. So double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease stitch in the next 2 stitches. And again, repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end. We're now on to round 24. Now round 24, we're actually going to crochet in the wings, so we need to have the wings at the ready. So first of all, you're going to do 2 double crochets as normal, 1, 2. Then you're going to take the first wing. Now you're going to start at one end. As long as your wing is folded flat in half, it shouldn't really matter. I mean, mine just folded flat as I finished them, and that's how they've finished. So start at this edge and put your hook through. Now you're going to put it through both sides. So put it through, I haven't put it right in the corner if you look. I put it through this one, okay, and through the other side of the wing as well. You don't have to be too precise with this, but as long as you're going through both sides of the wing. You'll then slide it along your crochet hook, give yourself a bit of room. Then I'm going to go into the next stitch. So can you see my end tail is there? So I'm going into the next stitch. So I've effectively gone through both sides of the wing and the body. There's quite a lot on my hook there, but that's fine. Just yarn over as you do before and pull it all the way through, and then yarn over and pull through, and that's a 1 double crochet through the wing as well. You're going to do this 7 times across the wing. So we've already done it once. So I'm just going to the next stitch on this side. It can be a little bit hard to sort of feed it through, but you're just trying to get through both sides of the wing, and then the next stitch on the body. So I look at where the last one was, go into the next one. Yarn over, pull through. I did a little twist then to get it through, and yarn over, pull through. So that's 2. Go through again. So it can be a little tough getting it through. Little twist to get it back through. That's 3. I've got a very hot day here, so my wool is squeaking a little bit. 3, 4, Making sure that you're going through both sides of the wing. I can't find the other side of my stitch. Probably because this is where I finished off and it's a bit too tight. Just found it then. Popped out again. Go back inside it before go there. Five. Six. Your aim is to do 7 with these wings, so this last one might not go through exactly. There we go. And that's 7. Now that's crocheted the wing into the side of the body there. Okay. And then I'm going to do 6 double crochets to get to the other side. So making sure that I go into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take my other wing and I'm going to wrestle with it in exactly the same way. So starting at one end, making sure I'm going all the way across. And again, this is going to be 7 stitches, making sure you're going into the next stitch. Trying to keep it nice and tight all at the same time. This is a little bit tricky, a little bit fiddly, but it's well worth it because it will keep the wings on securely. So that's 2. Three. This is where I've got that one on the other side again. Oh, it's gone through much easier this time. 3, 4, 5, went a little bit too low. 5, 6, and 7, my last one on the wing, and then you should find that you've got 2 stitches left, 1, 2, to finish off that round. So I'll just do 2 more double crochets just to finish off this round. Yeah, I think I made the mistake actually of going into the same stitch that I'd already done that one in, so do be careful of that, otherwise you'll be adding stitches. Yeah, that one had actually been in that one. I needed the next one. It is really important that you do try and make sure you're going into the right stitch. Okay. But you should still have 24 stitches all the way around, and you've now got your wings attached, so it's actually beginning to look a little bit more penguin-like now. We're going to do one more. Oh, just lost my light. One more round in the grey before we change to white. So I'm just going to pop my stitch marker back in. And we're now going to go down to 18 stitches. So it's a DC, double crochet, decrease, repeat all the way around. So double crochet, and then a decrease in front loops only. Okay, repeat that all the way around and I'll meet you back round at the end of the round. So I finished off that last round, round 25, with a decrease down to 18 stitches. We're now, you can see the neck's quite small. We're now going to change over to white. Now there's lots of different ways of changing to white. I quite like this way just because it's pretty hassle free. So this is how I do it, but there are other ways to do it. You can chain one and finish off as we have done before and then attach your white. I try and do it like this. So in the next round we're going up to 24 in the white. So I've still got my grey attached at the moment and I just try and keep that tight. Go into the next stitch to start my round and I'm just going to pull the grey to one side. It doesn't matter if that goes a bit loose because you can pull it tight again. I'm going to take my white and just loop it around my hook. This is the first part of my stitch, my first double crochet, and pull it through. Notice that the grey's gone a bit loose. It doesn't matter too much at this time. Making sure that you've not got the short end of the white, you want the other end, and just carry on the stitch. Now it doesn't matter if the grey is really loose at this time because you'll tighten it in a second, but that's your first double crochet in this round. And because we're doing an increase, we're doing double crochet, double crochet, and then an increase, so that's 2 in 1. 1, 2. Okay, now if I just pull that loose a minute and we go back here, you can see I can just pull the grey tight and it tightens off that stitch again. I'm going to snip it off now because I don't need the rest of the ball at the moment, but save that grey because you'll need it later. I'm going to just tie off the 2 ends, so these are the short ends here. Try not to do them too tight because you won't get into the stitch on the next one round, but you want them tight so that they're not going to come undone again. I just tend to do a few knots and then just tuck those in because you're going to stuff your penguin soon anyway. You can start to stuff it now if you'd like to. I prefer to wait just a little bit longer because I find it easier to manipulate before he's stuffed, or she. Okay, so we're going to follow that pattern round as we've done before with double crochet, increase all the way around. So the next stitch, double crochet, and increase, which is 2 in 1 stitch, and repeat that all the way around and I'll meet you at the end of the round.